If you remember last year, we said we wanted to move our shipping container.
We need to get this thing moved about 2 acres that way.
And welcome to our winter project.
Yep.
Well, here we are almost a year later, and the shipping container, in fact, has not moved. And honestly, I'm kind of glad we haven't moved it yet because I think our new plan is a little bit better. We were gonna put it with the front facing the house, but now the plan is to put the side facing the house all the way at the back of the property. And even though we just moved the sawmill, Dylan has been designing a lean-to to go off the shipping container so that the sawmill can go under it and be protected. And with the container being turned, it'll hopefully make driving into the sawmill with logs on the tractor a bit easier. With all that being said, we're gonna need a few things. Wood to build the lean-to, and also some sort of contraption that we can move the shipping container.
So today we're firing up our Woodland Mills sawmill, and we're gonna start cutting some logs. We have 6 of them set up over here, and we got a whole bunch more over there in another pile. So we're just gonna knock out some lumber that's gonna be needed to do all of the building and stuff that we plan to do with the shipping container. So in today's video, we're gonna be getting prepped and ready for the ultimate build, and it's super exciting because we've always wanted to build something out of our own rough cut lumber that we milled. So today's our chance to really start on a project. So much gas is in this thing. Pretty much empty. This is a tricky operation here. Sort of just you gotta get it right. You really gotta hit it just right. Well, it just so happened to be sun shining and pouring down rain right after the first log. I swear, Molly, I don't know what it is, but it just refuses to not rain whenever we're sawmilling.
Yeah, it's Alabama weather.
Yeah, although we could keep going, we couldn't film any of it. So we're in the shop, and we actually have a couple client projects going on that we haven't showed on the channel. So I'll show you a little bit about what's going on. This is a white oak. This is going to be a white oak table base here that I'm gluing up. And I've been just sort of slowly gluing these up. So I've got 3 more panels here, or 4 more. These 2 are the top, and that's another one of these that needs to get glued up next. And we're gonna make like a semi-X sort of base for this guy. And then this is actually an entire entertainment center / wardrobe thing that we got going on. But let's take this out of clamps and we'll glue up another one of these while I wait for the rain to hopefully stop. Got a little tip for you guys when you're gluing a panel up. I'm gonna rejoint each sides of these just to clean them up. But when you push them together, if your squareness of your fence is incorrect and you've got 2 angles like this, then when they go together, you'll have like a V-shaped top and it won't be flat. So all you have to do is joint them with opposite faces against your fence. So joint the first board with one side of the face against the fence and the other board with the opposite side. And that way, if you get some sort of amount of off, they'll stay like this, and when they go together, the board stays flat. if that makes sense. I've got these boards the opposite way of the way they're supposed to be, so they're jointed on the same exact side. And I just want to see if I can show you this in real time, what that looks like. So this would be jointed the same way on both of them, probably the way you would normally do it. And I made sure my fence is square. Well, let's find out how square. Because on a big panel like this, it makes a big difference. Look at that. See that? And that's because there are a tiny amount of inconsistencies multiplied here over a long span. So let's flip this around and see how flat it is. Voila. Alright, so whenever we're making lumber, and especially structural lumber like these posts and things, you really want the board to run with the grain, or the grain to run with the board. You don't want there to be like a board going this way and the grain or the tree is like this. With trees, and especially pine trees, they taper. So the butt of the log is usually a bigger diameter than the top of the log. And so you really kind of want to level them up. Sometimes it's not that important, but it can be. So I like to lay a board across and measure to the center of the tree. So we're at 7.5 inches here. And then we'll take this to the other end. And it is important to note that this can change for a lot of reasons, like just the orientation of the log. Maybe it's sitting on a nub or something like that. It could be raising one part up. But if I measure to here, we're actually exactly 7.5 inches, which pretty much never happens. But if you look at this log, it looks relatively level, but I would have said that this was definitely lower, and I probably would have eyeballed it and lifted it up about 1 inch. But anytime that the tree is unlevel, you can get cross grain orientation in that board. So it's good to raise one end up by sticking something under it. But in this instance, we're good to go.
Best purchase we've ever made.
Well, we got rained on a lot today, but we did produce all of this lumber you see right here out of 3 logs. And so this is 190 board feet. For us, that is about $1.50 a board foot, give or take, to buy it from a sawmill locally. So what did I say it was? How many?
240, 50?
So that's $285 worth of lumber that we made in less than an hour a log. Because it takes me an hour a log.
So 3 hours roughly.
Just give or take 3 hours. So like a little less than $100 an hour. So today, well worth it. I think people are oftentimes wonder if it's worth owning a sawmill. That time does not include getting those logs to right there to get on the mill. But as you can see, if you have the logs right there, you have to do your own math on how long it takes you to get them there. That's basically $100 an hour on pine. So imagine if these were oak logs. So this would have been almost $600, like $525 if we had just switched to oak logs.
Oh my gosh. And how much more do you think we need for the lean-to?
Quite a bit. We have all of our 6x6 posts now. We've got a lot of purlins, but we don't have nearly enough 2x6s. Well, just to give you a tally, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We made 7 2x6s, so tomorrow we should make 15 to 16 2x6s at least. And then yeah, we really will be getting close, because 40 feet 2 foot on center, we need about 20 of them.
Go team, go.
Really,
Good teamwork.
Like, the only thing we have left is we'll have to cut the beams, which we just need longer logs in general for. But with this, yeah, with these 6 logs, we'll get like 90% of the lumber. We've got to get the header beams.
We have to buy those?
No, they're 6x6s, but they are 16 foot long, and we need 2 of them.
Oh, okay.
So we got to cut, unless we have a 16 foot log over there, we're gonna have to cut down one of our coal trees and get a 16 foot log out of it.
Gotcha.
Well, probably two 16 foot logs.
Good morning. It is actually 2 days from that last clip, so we're gonna get to milling the last 3 logs. I don't really know how much we're doing today, but we're gonna finish milling all of the lumber for our lean-to.
That took 40 minutes.
Okay, so 40 minutes per log is our time. That's not our like trying to go as fast as we can time, but that's like the average time it probably takes us to do a log.
Not bad.
Yeah, so we could probably do it in 30 if we had a game plan
Yeah.
and we were like, going for it.
Right.
But there's still a lot of learning curve. Like laying the log out, trying to figure out get the most absolute yield out of a log. Like, I don't know if you noticed, but over this video, this amount in the tractor per log has gotten a lot less. So I'm slowly figuring out how to best optimize a log, which is a good thing. Let's get a count here. We got 2 2x4s, 1, 2, 3, 4 1x4s, and 1, 2, 3, 4 2x6s, all 10 feet long out of one log in 45 minutes.
That's pretty good. Moving on to the last log, and it's really hot, like really hot. It's not the last log, it's the last log for 2x6s. We still have to do the 16-foot headers.
All right, in today's load of 3 logs, we got 13 2x6s by 10. Then we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 2x4 by 10s. And then we also got 7, maybe 8 1x4 by 10s. Pretty good haul.
Not too bad.
Let's do the math real quick. Divided by 12, 46 plus 1, 30. So that's 176 board feet. Then we got 7 times 1 times 4 times 10. 190 board feet. Isn't that the same as what we got yesterday? 190 board feet. That's a lot of lumber for what we average, 45 minutes a log?
Yeah.
Something like that.
Something like that.
You know what's crazy? Is for us, our last trip to get rough cut lumber, we bought 120 board feet of lumber, and it cost, granted it wasn't pine, but it cost like quite a lot of money, and it took us 2 hours of travel to go get it.
Mm-hmm.
So the whole, well, you're using a lot of your time. Literally almost in the same amount of time, we made almost the same amount of board feet of lumber. That's pretty cool. Well, since last week uncovering the sawmill, our wood pile has grown substantially, which is very exciting. I've got some numbers here. I just want to share with you our totals right now. We don't currently have enough to fully finish the container shop build, so we do have to saw some more, but we got the vast majority of them out of this. Now, I'm slightly uncertain on this number, but I believe this is 10 logs, because I milled 4 logs in the last after the last video when we set it up, and then I milled 6. We both milled 6 logs in this video, so I believe it's 10. Out of those 10 logs, we got a ton of dunnage. This is all separate, but dunnage to separate our stacks, as well as the frame that we're using to stack it on, so that stuff's not counted in these totals. Okay, we have 23 2x4 by 8s, 7 2x4 by 10s, 10 2x6 by 8s, 14 2x6 by 10s, 4 2x8 by 10s, 18 1x4 by 10s, 4 1x4 by 8s, 3 6x6 by 8s, and 2 6x6 by 10. Now I haven't added up the board feet totals of all this, but we're gonna put them on the screen right here. So this is the total board feet of this lumber that we cut out of 6 logs, minus what we built on the bottom to hold the stack and minus some of the dunnage. Just out of curiosity, this is the total cost it would have cost if we were to go buy these same materials at Home Depot. Granted, the materials at Home Depot would be both dried, dimensioned, and the 6x6s would be treated, but just out of curiosity. I just find this stuff interesting, so for those of you that find it interesting, here you go. Hours on the mill, we averaged 45 minutes per log, but I'm just gonna say 1 hour per log, and that will include the setup and going and getting the log with the tractor and all that kind of stuff. So just good safe numbers, about 10 hours to get all of this lumber. I don't know if that's good or not, but it was a lot of fun. Yeah, it was a lot of fun making this, and the novelty of it is really the coolest part.
We get to build something on our own property with the wood that we created.
Yeah, and pretty much all of these logs came from literally our property, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So we have so many more logs too.
I know. You know what else we have so much more of?
What?
Clearing the property.
Yeah. Well, that's going to do it for this week's video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And in next week's video, we're going to be continuing milling probably, but also clearing the spot for this container, selecting some more trees that are dead back there that we can get some of our beams out of, and sawing some gigantic beams. So you're not going to want to miss it. Subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.
Will you stand by this for reference? How tall are you?
5'10", 6'4".
Okay.